On behalf of the Vienna Economic Forum, I warmly welcome you to the Vienna Future Dialogue 2020. As your moderator, I'm pleased to lead you through the next 2 hours. This is the 17th yearly event of the Vienna Economic Forum and nevertheless a premiere due to this special digital setting. And of course, even if this can never be a full substitute for a real get-together, we are grateful that we could manage it this way. And it is in this spirit that we welcome the opportunity to bring together the economic and the political perspective together and focus on the new type of mobility in a digital world, meeting challenges and opportunities for the regional economy. Wherever you are now in the world, whether in your office or probably for most of you in your home office, we would like to thank you for joining us. And a special tribute is owed to our speakers, some of whom are here in person, and the majority is participating online. You can see right now all of them on the slides, and I will introduce them later right before their speeches. But I just greet especially the European Commissioner for Innovation, Research, Culture, Education and Youth, Mrs. Mariya GABRIEL. And we are honored today with the presence of their Excellencies, Mr. Prime Minister Avdullah HOTI, Mr. Prime Minister Denis SCHMYHAL, and Mr. Deputy Minister in charge Fatmir BYTYQI. Welcome to all of you. And last but not least, we would like to express our special appreciation to the members of the board of the Vienna Economic Forum. Every one of you is probably already familiar with this new digital setting, which is of course a live setting with a few speakers here in the hall and the main speakers connected online as already mentioned. So please have this in mind when there should be the one or other technical delay or problem. We have a strong technical support team here, and all together we will make this reunion a very special one, I'm confident. To close a little bit the distance gap between us, we would like all the participants, the guests, to ask their questions in the chat room, which can be opened with the icon with the question mark. But due to our very tough time schedule, we won't present the Q&As during this event, and we won't answer them immediately. But if you add your email address to your question, the Office of the Vienna Economic Forum will be more than happy to answer your requests in a few days via email. So digital settings require a lot of concentration from you and therefore a proper time management from us and from the speakers. In order to support our speakers, we have installed a counter for their speaking time and the sound signal 30 seconds before the ending. Let's test this right now. Probably you've heard it, it wasn't very loud. And we have a final sound signal at the very end of the speech. So with this, let's test this also, the final sound signal, so that you've heard it already. Final sound signal. Yeah, it's a gong. So you have heard it and no one will be surprised later. With this, I would like to open the floor for the Secretary General of Vienna Economic Forum, Ambassador Dr. Elena KIRTCHEVA.
Thank you. Dear members, friends, partners of Vienna Economic Forum, it's my pleasure and my privilege to welcome all of you today in this special edition of the 17th Vienna Economic Forum. Special because, you know, we are a very small number here in the beautiful Trumpet Hall of the headquarters of the Austrian Post. But all of you who are at the moment online with you, I want to say warmly welcome to the people in Vienna, Brussels, Paris, and Luxembourg, in Sofia, Skopje, Pristina, and Kiev, in Istanbul, Washington, United States of America, in all other 32 countries all over the world. Welcome to this special edition. Special from another point of view also, because the Board of Vienna Economic Forum invited as a main participants Her Excellency European Commissioner Mariya GABRIEL. With her portfolio, she has the big challenge, the big future for her to be responsible for the innovation, for the education, for the youth from the region. We know, everybody of us, we know that the future is digital, but the youth is the future. So, Madam Commissioner, welcome very warmly, and thank you for your big engagement with the youth, with the education from the region. In the next 15, 20 years, we have to think about these people who are now children, who are now young people. They are swimming now in an ocean of information, but they need guidance to don't go down in this ocean. Thank you again to all members of the Board of Vienna Economic Forum, to all members who are responsible and interested in the region of Vienna Economic Forum. And let me say to you, Excellencies, the Premier Minister and Deputy Prime Minister of the countries of Vienna Economic Forum, you have the responsibility. Our motto, economy meets politics, is try to be the bridge between the politics economy, because only a good balance between the private and the public interest is the precondition for a good economy. Thank you again, and let us hope that in the next 2 hours we will have good ideas, good interest to the forum, and good future for the economy of the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. KIRTCHEVA, for this motivating introduction. Before I hand over to the President of the Vienna Economic Forum, I would like to thank him for hosting this event in the Austrian Post headquarters here in this wonderful Trumpet hall, so-called Trumpet Hall. So, and now I would like to give you the floor, member of the Executive Board at Österreichische Post AG, Peter UMUNDUM.
Yeah, Excellencies, dear Madam Commissioner Gabriel, distinguished Prime Ministers, dear Madam Vice President of European Investment Bank, dear members of the Vienna Economic Forum, dear ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to this 17th Vienna Economic Forum here at the headquarters of Austrian Post in Vienna and online all over Europe. Thanks to all of you joining us. I'm very proud to host this Vienna Future Dialogue 2020, titled New Type of Mobility in a Digital World, Challenges and Opportunities for the Regional Economy. In this challenging year, we are proud that our conference, our dialogue, can take place. And so today we leave our motto, New Type of Mobility in a Digital World, also within our forum. It would have been much easier to cancel this year's event, but we want to show our colors. And we want to thank you for your support and for your participation. Right now, it is important to connect people where borders are closed and people should not meet each other because of COVID-19. We are running a digital way, and for sure fulfilling all safety rules. For many years, the Vienna Economic Forum is known for connecting people, connecting politics and economy in Central, in Eastern and Southeastern Europe. Therefore, the second motto of today is Challenges and Opportunities for the Regional Economy. I'm sure that our speakers will give you some answers or at least some ideas concerning and improving regional economy based on a tough year 2020. We are very proud to welcome top speakers from politics and economy, The highlight of today's dialogue is the participation of European Commissioner Ms. Mariya GABRIEL, a speaker and participant of the panel discussion. The whole conference is streamed on the homepage of the European Commission and on Vienna Economic Forum's homepage. The Vienna Economic Forum is a well-functioning network all over Europe. Especially for the next couple of years, the board of the forum is concerned it is important to develop and to enlarge the network to bring an economic benefit to the partners and to the partner countries, and sometimes, if necessary, to set the focus on interesting partner countries as well as on interesting topics like the challenges of the pandemic, the Green Deal, or digitalization. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of you an interesting conference and fruitful discussions.
Thank you, Mr. President. The next greeting words were planned to be from Mr. Georg Knill, who unfortunately could not attend, and therefore we are grateful that another member of the board of the Vienna Economic Forum could stand in for him at very short notice. Member of the Management Board Corporate Banking at Raiffeisen Bank International, a founding member of the Vienna Economic Forum. We are glad to have you here, Magister Peter LENNKH.
Well, good morning from my side. Very happy to be with you and to send you greetings. I cannot speak about the Austrian industry as good as Mr. Knill could, but I can speak about banking in the region. As Raiffeisen Bank International, we went to Central and Eastern Europe 30 years ago, and we're now active, as you know, in 14 countries. The way we are connected here together with you, we want and we are connected with our customers throughout the region. We see it as our privilege and duty, especially in times like this, where many of us are facing the consequences of the second lockdown, to keep our infrastructure up and running, to keep the cash economy going, to make sure money keeps flowing and that we bring our customers with financial support through this crisis as good as we can. So we greet you. I think it is extremely important that we stay in dialogue, that on events like today, we exchange our views, our concerns and our hopes. And in this context, I'm very confident that we will overcome this pandemic as well as this recession, as we did many other things over the last 30 years. And there were bigger challenges that we have overcome together. So in this context, I'm very happy that today with us here is our head of research, who will give us also some insights on the recipes for a sustainable rebound. And so I send you my warm greetings, and I'm confident that sun will shine after winter again.
Thank you so much, Mr. LENNKH. It's always good to have confident people in these times. And without being planned, you built the perfect bridge to our next speaker. As you already said to us, now we are eagerly expecting the input based on the research from the banking sector, which will let us know how this sector can contribute to a sustainable rebound of the regional economy at the crossroads. The research expert from Raiffeisen Research, from Raiffeisen Bank International, and member of the board of Vienna Economic Forum, Mr. Gunter DEUBER, will herewith share the insights with us.
Dear Excellencies, dear members of the Vienna Economic Forum, dear participants, I've prepared a few slides that will be now hopefully shared to give you a little bit of an overview how we are seeing the region. So if we are moving to the next slide and looking at the top messages, it's pretty clear that this time banks are well prepared to support the recovery. We also think that the hit in public finances will be manageable in most cases, and their financing options. I will elaborate on this one. We have to accept that the tourism sector is a very important sector in large parts of the region and many countries. And here we think that coordinated policy and support measures, possibly also at the EU level and going definitely beyond national borders, would be needed. And we see the green finance and ESG topic as maybe the next conversion and investment story in the region, and see most countries fairly well prepared for this journey. So if we move to the next slide and the hard data, you see that prior to this crisis, banks showed a disciplined and I would say really credit supportive growth, but not an excessive credit growth. This time around, this opens the opportunity that banks can lend in the crisis. So the yellow bar on the right chart shows that currently we have decent lending growth in local currency in all markets, something that has not happened in previous crises. So banks are supporting the economies, and that's important because foreign banks have 60 to 70% market share in Central Southeastern Europe, also in Ukraine, still 17% market share. And we are at the right place with the Vienna Economic Forum because Austrian banks represent 40% of the exposures of leading Western banks in the region, and currently banks are supporting the economies. If we move to the next slide, you see what is the starting base and why banks can offer the support. You see the loan to deposit ratios. There is sufficient liquidity in all the markets, and this is definitely a function of the moderate and disciplined growth. Moreover, most of the financing in most countries is now in local currency, something this is also easier currently for foreign banks to support the local economies. So there are not the risks of the foreign currency lending that we have been running 10 to 15 years ago. You see, even in Southeastern Europe, we have an average of 40%. We were close to 70 a few years ago. Also in Ukraine, this risk has decreased substantially. I touched upon the liquidity situation, so there is a leeway to support private and public sector borrowings. On top of all this, banks are heavily investing into digital. We looked at this one at RBI, also in our CE FinTech Atlas, and we currently see that the crisis contributes massively to the digital development. We see that 66% of the population in the region are already digitally sophisticated customers. This also means for us, we can build digital solutions also locally. There is a good talent pool there, and it's also good to keep jobs in the region. But let's move to the next slide and to look at the financing options and the financing positions of the sovereigns. It goes without saying that we will see huge deficits in all of the countries in the region. Nevertheless, we see public debt levels by and large, with a few exceptions, rather manageable from a level perspective. A lot of countries have shown a good consolidation prior to this crisis. This is something what we, honestly speaking, haven't seen in all parts of Western Europe. And there is a lot of also EU and IFI financing available. We see also the growth and reflation perspectives in the region more generous than for Western Europe, which adds to public debt sustainability. And that the region is seen relatively positively by markets, we can see on the next slide, where you see the borrowings of the sovereigns on the left-hand side year to date on international markets from Central and Southeastern Europe. So in this crisis, we see record issuance volumes out of the region on international markets that are very well absorbed. This means investors are still having trust in the region. As I have shown, also the public debt is by and large manageable. And we as banks are supporting also the sovereigns to go to the market, because international issuance is also a key element in keeping the domestic absorption capacity. And as I have shown, there is liquidity locally that is also needed locally. So it makes sense to tap international markets, and the sovereigns from the region are rather successful here. Not to forget that from our understanding, any green or social bonds out of the region will most likely face bumper demand. So there is even potential to tap markets in these segments, which we haven't seen extensively from the region. But the market appetite to support the region is also there. If we go to the next slide, here we see travel and tourism as a share of GDP. And you see that a lot of countries in Southeastern Europe, but also some in Central Europe, and Austria is also in the middle of this ranking, are heavily depending on tourism. And we think that this is a sector that is hit so hard, currently 60-70% revenue shortfall, that will require coordinated and possibly also European solutions going forward, because the return to normality will take some time. However, we have to say that also tourism could be part of the green transformation I will touch upon later on, especially as a lot of tourism to the region is intra-European tourism, in some countries also not mass tourism, and definitely this can add to the green agenda if we have a good program here to support the upgrading in travel and tourism locally. Going to the next slide and my last remarks here, definitely the region has some way to go in terms of green finance, ESG. Nevertheless, we developed an ESG scoring for sovereigns and for corporates in RBI. And honestly speaking, a lot of countries out of the region are faring pretty well in the ESG scoring due to developed social systems, due to reductions in emissions over the last few years. So we see all countries from the region from rank 80 to 60 out of 180 countries globally. The ESG investing trend is definitely going beyond the developed markets, more into the emerging market space. And here we see the region well placed to participate in this topic. So from our understanding, we just have to change the narrative and have to say ESG is the next transition in the region, and in macroeconomic terms, it will be more efficient to invest in this field in Eastern Europe than in Western Europe, because most likely the savings that we will get out of these investments will be much higher than in Western Europe. So the base is there for the green transition from our understanding, and this is all I want to present here at the beginning of this discussion.
Thank you so much, Mr. DEUBER. You mentioned digital sophisticated customers. I have to say we really have digital sophisticated speakers being so in time, and we have a digital sophisticated audience here with us. We count now more than 150 participants, which makes us really proud. And I would like to remind again the possibility to ask questions with the chat function, but please be aware that these questions will be answered a few days later from the office of the Vienna Economic Forum. So please be so kind to add your email address. Yeah, thank you, Mr. DEUBER. Again, your presentation will for sure enrich the further discussion, a discussion which will be opened with the keynote of Madam Commissioner, who will highlight the vision of the European community and the challenges and opportunities of the regional economy. I invite Her Excellency, Mrs. Mariya GABRIEL, to take the floor.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Dear Prime Minister, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to begin by thanking the organizers of the 17th Vienna Economic Forum for the invitation. Thank you very much, Ambassador KIRTCHEVA, for your visionary approach and for your engagement. It is an honor to be with you. The topics related to new types of mobility and strengthening of regional economies are of great importance to us all. Strong cooperation with the Europeans' closest partners have been at the heart of my political objectives as Digital Commissioner. It remains the case now in the areas of research, innovation and education, the knowledge triangle. This knowledge triangle can help us achieve our broader objectives of increasing growth, contributing to the success of green and digital transitions, and giving young people a better chance to prosper in life. Mobility, both physical and virtual, is key in this context. It can further strengthen our cooperation at all levels and in all sectors. On 30th of September, I presented 3 new flagship communications: the European Education Area, the Digital Education Action Plan, and the European Research Area. In combination, they promote research and innovation, the development of skills and competencies, including digital, and the creation of knowledge across disciplines, sectors, and borders in a lifelong learning perspectives. They encourage inclusiveness, mobility, and a human-centered approach with a strong focus on young people and gender equality. Knowledge has no territorial boundaries, and it grows with collaborations. So I want to work with you in the context of the objectives of these three important initiatives. Let me give you a few examples of our policy initiatives that are relevant also to mobility. First, in the context of the European Research Area, we'll launch the ERA4U, European Research Area for You. This initiative will facilitate cross-sectoral mobility. It will unlock regional potential by supporting low R&I performing countries to enhance the excellence of their R&I systems. ERA4U addresses both European member states and our neighbors, our partners. The same, we would like to establish a network of ERA hubs. We need this kind of single entry point, one-stop shops, where our young people and our entrepreneurs, our researchers, they can work together. Second, we need to strengthen the public science system. And in this context, the role of universities is essential. They not only expand the boundaries of knowledge, but also encourage its spread in territorial ecosystems. That's why I'm very, very glad that in our European education area, we propose to have the European universities of the future. 41 European university alliances, more than 280 universities already engaged in this new approach. I will be very glad to cooperate with our Western Balkans partners, especially because this time, with this concept of the universities of the future, we would like to change our approach, more impact-oriented, more challenge-based approach where since the beginning, entrepreneurs, public institutions, young people, civil society are working together in order to better prepare our learners and our students for the jobs of the future. And here it's very, very important that we work on a new European framework for micro-credentials. The universities can accelerate digital and green transitions, and for this we need this kind of recognition of trainings and learning modules. We need teachers, and very glad that we propose the creation of 25 teachers academies in order to help all these people that inspire young people to exchange good practices, to elaborate together materials and pedagogies. Last but not least, we need to strengthen innovation ecosystems. For example, through technology transfer and academia-business cooperation. Intersectoral collaboration provides a valuable service that is unfortunately not available to startups and to innovative SMEs. That is something that we are addressing with priority through the smart specialization strategies. But here my question is how to link this with the digital innovation hubs, how to link this with the work of the European Innovation Council, and finally, why not really to continue to work on a joint technological roadmaps between academia and business. We need really to be better when we look how to transfer our excellence in scientific results into products and services beneficial for our society. And let me conclude with a few words on our cooperation with the Western Balkans in particular. In 2020, under the strong leadership of President von der Leyen and Commissioner Verhely, you have seen a series of very important measures proposed by the European Commission specifically for the Western Balkans, such as, lastly, the Economic and Investment Plan. As announced in this plan, and in order to support the achievement of its ambitious goals, I started working on a dedicated innovation agenda for the Western Balkans. I would like to propose a comprehensive long-term strategy, which is essential for the development of human capital, sustainable innovation ecosystems, and the transition to a knowledge-based economy. We would like to promote an inclusive and high-quality education and training systems with a view to offering new opportunities for the young people. In terms of mobility, through our flagship programs such as Horizon 2020 and Erasmus+, we can further improve the performance of the region. Both programs are linking stakeholders in the Western Balkans with key partners in Europe and beyond. We have many achievements to build on, not only with our key partners. We need to continue our efforts to achieve better convergence by implementing structural reforms, overcoming structural weaknesses, strengthening innovation, supporting startups. This will unlock regional talent and potential and accelerate at the same time the green and digital transitions in light of our common objectives. Now, let me turn to you, Prime Minister HOTI, to hear your views on how we can strengthen regional economies.
Yeah, thank you very much. Commissioner Gabriel, thank you, Mrs. Philipp, and to all participants. It's a real pleasure and honor to be with you, with all of you, in this year's Vienna Economic Forum, a forum which is actually having an impact on various issues in the region and beyond the region, on many issues. I have been following the work of Vienna Economic Forum for some years now, and I think I comprehend the importance of bringing together both researchers, economists, and policymakers to discuss various issues that are of importance not only for the region but for the EU in general. Well, I'll talk from our perspective. We, as other countries in the region, we have been hit quite hard by this pandemic situation. Based on the recent estimates, the GDP is expected to decline to close to 7%, even though we have almost fully compensated businesses for the decline during this decline in demand and economic activity during this months. Still, we might be facing an economic downturn of around 7%. And it seems that even though we contributed as a government, we contributed to the economy around 5% of GDP, it seems that disruption in demand and supply chains in the economy and international trade as well, seems that we haven't been actually able to fully compensate the economy as we initially planned. And this is where we come to the main important issue, the need to make sure that our markets are fully integrated. By the way, last week we had the Sofia summit where we discussed many important issues, primarily the need to establish and make it fully functional and operational regional economic area and common market. It seems that we still need to do a lot, not countries individually, but the region together, all countries, in a way to take common commitments, as we call them, in terms of removing all trade barriers, be it tariff or non-tariff barriers for regional trade, because countries are interrelated, are interdependent. And if we are not able to remove those barriers, it's going to be difficult to recover in the short term. From our perspective as a country, we have removed almost all barriers, but there are still some political issues that we have to address in order to make the region fully integrated. As all of you know, we are going through the process of dialogue with Serbia, and we all hope that we will be able to close this dialogue successfully so that to stabilize the region, but from the economic point of view, to make sure that our markets are integrated, and finally we remove any kind of political risk to economic development of our countries. We also have some issues in trade relations with Bosnia and Herzegovina, and we hope that we would be able to overcome those barriers pretty soon as well. We are fully committed to contribute to regional common market as a country, and we expect from other countries to do the same, because we firmly believe that committing to this regional common market would help all of us to overcome this pandemic situation, but also will eliminate any source of regional insecurity and political instability in the region. So this is first. Second, the second issue that I would like to raise in this esteemed forum is related to our need to increase our absorption capacities. Now the EU has been supporting the region, including Kosovo, for so many years to increase this capacities. But again, it seems that in order for the region to be fully attractive to foreign direct investments, we need first to integrate the region, and second, to build that necessary physical as well as social and legal infrastructure for the region to work together as a common market and to be attractive to foreign investors as well. So we have high expectations and high hopes for the EU investment plan 2021-27, which is, as you know, in the amount of 28 billion euros, out of which 9 billion euros is in the form of grants to the countries in the region. And what is good about this investment plan of the EU is that we have all been asked, all countries in the region, to provide a list of projects that would help our economies to integrate better. Mostly infrastructure projects, but also projects related to digital economy, such as broadband infrastructure that would help the economies in the region to be fully integrated. But in addition to that, I think we need to work hard in order to move forward on implementing in practice the 4 freedoms. We made significant progress, well, in terms of declaration and commitments on paper in the Sofia summit last week. And now we expect to see concrete actions from all countries in the region as how we can fully implement these 4 freedoms so that we can yield the benefits of this EU investment plan, as well as the reorganization of the whole supply chain in global scale due to this pandemic, expecting that more and more companies, EU companies, would be located to the region, given the proximity of the market of the Western Balkans to the EU. I think in this way, working together, we can also increase the capacities of the whole region to be more and more prepared for future EU integration. So this is all from me at this point. I look forward to further discussions with you.
And Madam Commissioner, for your high hopes and for opening such an inspiring discussion, which we are looking forward to complement now with the perspective of His Excellency, Mr. Prime Minister Denis Shmyhal.
Dear participants, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to take part at Vienna Economic Forum session. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic and thanks to technologies, we have the opportunity to maintain dialogue with each other. I am convinced that COVID-19 is a global challenge, yet it's also an opportunity to discover new ways for cooperation. The Vienna Economic Forum is a comprehensive platform that allows us to intensify dialogue between countries and integrate successfully into the common European economic space. The 22nd European Union-Ukraine Summit was recently held. We have jointly identified a focus on deepening Ukraine's political association and economic integration with European Union. The strategic partnership with European Union remains the basis of Ukraine's security and development. This is especially true in the context of COVID-19, when Ukraine needs strong new incentives for economic recovery. Such incentives should be the gradual expansion of access to European Union internal market in areas where Ukraine has already made significant progress. Removal of other restrictions that exist for our trade. We have also approached the point where it's necessary to update the agreement. There are objective factors for us, for this. Changes in EU, changes in economy of Ukraine, the growth connection between Ukraine and EU. That is why the Ukrainian delegation presented at the summit and conveyed to EU its vision of updating the association agreement and called for consultations on updating certain parameters of the agreement, especially in areas of trade and sectoral cooperation. We must also have a systematic dialogue on Ukraine's accession to EU green course. After all, this is not just a new European Union policy, this is a new reality of which Ukraine will inevitably become a part. That is why we are in favor of involving in the early stages of strategy formation and equal discussion of issues that will affect us. Last week, Ukraine also launched a high-level dialogue with the European Commission to take an active part at European Alliance of Critical Raw Materials. We want Ukrainian companies to join the alliance because Ukraine has a lot of potential. We aim to launch a joint project on geological study of minerals, which considers us as an interest to our European partners. And during the next year to prepare several deposits of those critical for the European Union minerals for an auction. Ukraine has become a reliable partner for the EU here. In the development of cooperation in the raw material sector, we propose to apply an innovative cluster approach. We could consider the possibility of building a plant in Ukraine for the production of batteries for electric cars, of the production of electric buses, which could be supplied to European countries and other world markets. Other expectations of Ukraine for cooperation with European Union are signing of the agreement of common aviation area between Ukraine and the EU, start of integration of gas and electricity markets, domestic gas market regime and accession into the European network of transmission system operations for electricity, integration into the EU digital market. Despite the pandemic, we are determined to continue systemic reforms in Ukraine, which should be the basis for overcoming the crisis and further economic growth. We are moving forward toward liberalization of the agricultural land market, medical reform, development of electronic government, and digitalization of public services, ensuring transparent and fair business rules. The government of Ukraine considers decentralization to be one of the most important reforms. This is a comprehensive and multifaceted reform that qualitatively changes all spheres of life of citizens and has the broad support of Ukrainian society. Ukraine is one of the world's paramount destinations for outsourcing IT services. The IT industry is growing annually by 20–25%. Ukraine is one of the world's leading producers and exporters of agricultural products. We are a big agricultural player, but our potential is way bigger. Central and Eastern European countries can be Ukraine's source of investments, know-how, and best practices. The most promising areas for investments in Ukraine are in the agro-industrial complex, energy infrastructures, as well as those areas where Ukraine has competitive advantages, in particular IT. Creating favorable conditions for the development and conduct of business in Ukraine, it is a constant priority for the government. Clear and transparent rules of game in the market, fair and predictable behavior of regulators, Removal of regularly batteries are vital for the full development of entrepreneurship in the country and attracting investments. I wish all the participants of the forum fruitful and productive work. Thank you for your attention. Be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, for sharing your view on the future of the regional economic cooperation. And now we would like to bring in the perspective of the European Investment Bank, highly skilled in infrastructure projects and regional development, the Vice President of the European Investment Bank, Dr. Liljana Pavlova, will focus with us on the new economic and investment plan. Dr. Pavlova.
Hello, good morning. Thank you. Thank you very much, dear Daniela. I hope you can hear me and you can see me. Thank you. Dear Ambassador KIRTCHEVA, dear Elena, dear Commissioner Gabriel, dear Prime Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank you for the kind invitation to join today's event, which underlines the EU's strong commitment and solidarity with the region. At the Sofia summit last week, within the margins of Berlin process, all European leaders, as well as the European Investment Bank, we reaffirmed our full support to the Western Balkan countries in achieving their goals and reforms in line with EU policies and enlargement strategy. We are proud to be the leading financier in the Western Balkan region as the overall EIB group. In the past 10 years, the bank invested more than 8 billion across all sectors in support of region's socio-economic development and its accession process. More recently, we contributed as well as part of Team Europe to the COVID response package with 1.7 billion euro, and we will continue to build up a pipeline of projects currently estimated to 2.3 billion euro. Being the European Climate Bank as well, our focus going forward will be to support the transition of the Western Balkan countries towards greener, more connected, more sustainable and more inclusive economic model. We warmly welcome the new economic and investment plan outlined by the European Commission and endorsed by the Western Balkan leaders. At the heart of the plan, there is a substantial investment package for the region. The European Commission proposes 9 billion of IPA 3 funding for the next programming period 2021-2027 to support the economic convergence with the EU and to spur the investment. In addition, the investment capacity of the region should be boosted by mobilization of a new Western Balkans guarantee facility with the ambition to potentially raise investments of up to 20 billion. The bank is already actively involved in a number of flagship projects mentioned by the plan, where we are not only providing a long-term financing, but we are also providing much needed technical assistance and advisory support for project preparation and implementation. Just to name a few projects, in the area of connectivity, we are supporting Corridor 5C in Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as rehabilitation of rail route 4 connecting Belgrade to the Montenegrin port of Bar. In the area of digital infrastructure, we are currently supporting with our advisory and technical assistance development of the broadband network in Albania and soon in Kosovo. In the area of environment, we will finance the wastewater treatment plant in Skopje. Going forward, the European Investment Bank, we will support projects allowing regions transition to environmental friendly energy generation, digitalization, better connectivity, stronger and more inclusive private sector, environmental protection and resilience to natural disasters, while promoting the regional cooperation and economic integration. As EU Climate Bank, with ambitious goals for advancing climate actions, we are delighted to see political commitment from all Western Balkan leaders on the green agenda. We stand ready to support technically and financially this challenging but vital task. We look forward to intensifying our long-standing cooperation with the Western Balkan partners, together with the European Commission, with all member states, fellow IFIs, and all partners in the region and beyond, to support the implementation of these ambitious and really important for the region investment plan and the European Green Agenda. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Pavlova. It's really a challenging but vital task, as you mentioned, and you mentioned too that this event and all the speeches so far underline really the strong commitment of the region. I would like to pass the word now to His Excellency, Mr. Deputy Prime Minister Fatmir BYTYQI, commenting for us the current investment climate in his country. Mr. Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you. Dear Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and greetings from Skopje. I'm pleased to be here with all of you today and thanks for the invitation. Happy to see you all safe and in good health. We are facing really difficult times that require a lot of introspection, but as well action to protect and preserve. This pandemic is facing the world with a challenge, but as every challenge does, it makes us come out of our comfort zone and grow. We are focused on saving the jobs of our citizens and helping the liquidity of the companies. I think that the main challenge we all struggle is trying to find the right balance between health and economic measures. We have managed till now to keep the investment processes going during the crisis. But what I think is at most important is looking and planning beyond the current situation into the post-COVID period, in which we have the possibility of making an impact for fast development and growth. Last week, we have published the budget planning for year 2021 that will support the economic challenges due to the coronavirus and support the health system. But as well, we made sure that we have integrated components that will push us in the next level of development. This budget is a plan to have impact in the upcoming 3 to 5 years, which is, I think, the crucial for our future growth. The pandemic is facing us with all the issues we have failed to address and solve in the past. Now it has come a time we can no longer turn a blind eye to processes that need to happen in order to move forward stronger. The process of digitalization, creating strong value chains, investment in innovation, as well as research and development, while addressing climate change action through private and public investment, is what will take our economy to the next level. Meanwhile, creating systemic solutions that will enable fair competition in the market, which means we are strongly committed to fight against corruption and grey economy as the key factors of one prosperous, democratic and developed country, candidate for EU integration. In the projected budget for next year, we have planned more than 380 million euros for capital investment, which is more than 20% than the last year. That shows our dedication to development and growth. We are forming so-called investment task force that is going to monitor and make sure that all investments in our country are operational. This is just one pillar of what we call center of delivery. That is a big picture, and that it's a part of the national development plan. Even in the time of Corona and pandemic, we as a government started developing the national development plan, which is that in the first it is the first time that we would have a long-term strategic document for North Macedonia that should enable growth and prosperity of our citizens, but as well predictability and stability for investments in our country. But coming back to my starting point of this talk, we are all faced with a challenge, and how we will respond to it. It is the difference of how our countries and region will go forward in the future. In the past months, I often talked that Western should strengthen their collaboration, and through dialogue and connecting common interests, we should create regional market that will enhance our competitiveness. Actually, I'm talking about regional competitiveness instead of regional competition. So let me use this occasion to address openness for collaboration, dialogue, and enhancing shared interests. For me, that is the only way that we will be able to overcome the difficult time that is upon us and to look together into the brighter future for the Western Balkan countries. With mutual trust and respect, we can overcome every obstacle. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prime Minister. And I would like to invite Madam Commissioner again to share her point of view after having heard the comments of the Prime Ministers.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prime Ministers, for your important and insightful comments. I would like just to react on some of the main issues, because we all agree that mobility in all its forms is crucial for growth, economic development, and cooperation at regional and national level. But it requires smart solutions and investment. In the context of green and digital transitions, I would like to focus briefly on three types of mobility that I find particularly important: transport, digital, and of people. First, transport. It is a crucial factor in our economic and social life, from daily commuting to work or leisure trips to the proper functioning of global supply chains. Transport needs to become more sustainable, which means putting users first and providing them with more accessible, healthier and cleaner alternatives to their current means. The Europeans' goal of climate neutrality by 2050 cannot be reached without ambitious measures and strengthened cooperation with our partners, including our neighbors. But to make our vision a reality, we must shift the existing paradigm of incremental change to fundamental transformation. This will be one of the main messages within the Sustainable and Smart Mobility Strategy communication that the Commission is about to adopt. We need sustainable alternatives in the automotive sector and beyond. A good example is the development of e-ferries. We funded the creation of the first 100 electric e-ferry in the world, powered only by batteries. With only one e-ferry, we are already saving 2,000 tons of CO2 per year. Imagine what we could do if we implement similar solutions at a larger scale. Research and innovation has here a great role to play. And our Horizon Europe program is a key tool to accelerate the transition towards a smart and sustainable mobility. Skills development and the cooperation between academia and business are also crucial. That brings me to the European Green Deal. In September, I launched the European Green Deal call, which was the first direct contribution to the European Green Deal, thanks again to the Horizon 2020 program. We have 1 billion for very, very important and transformative projects. I invite you to encourage your researchers, your innovators, your SMEs, your industries to join consortia and to participate in the call. Let me now turn to the digital aspects of mobility. I have already highlighted some of the elements and the importance of digital skills development in my introduction. But the COVID-19 pandemic has shown the importance of investing in digital infrastructure, connectivity and equipment, and digital skills and competencies for the future. They are key to supporting our new ways of living, learning, working, and interacting. Digital transformation is one of the drivers of the long-term economic recovery and sustainable growth in the EU and beyond. It can help bridge the gap in terms of economic convergence between different regions. We will provide sufficient resources to help this transformation. The recently announced Economic and Investment Plan, you know that better for me, for Western Balkans, aims at providing up to 9 billion euro funding, complemented by the new Western Balkans Guarantee Facility, which can raise investments of up to 20 billion euro. The investments leverage could potentially raise the region's real GDP by 3.6%. But the plan also reconfirms the importance of the digital agenda, with a strong focus of investment in digital infrastructure, lowering the cost of roaming with the region and between the region and the EU, digital skills development, support for digital startups and scale-ups. Supporting innovative entrepreneurs and micro, small and medium-sized enterprises will continue to be crucial in all our initiatives together with our neighboring countries to translate tech opportunities and economic strength into jobs, unlock the regional talent and potential, and get ready for future challenges. To achieve our goals, we need also inclusive, resilient, and future-oriented education and training systems fit for the digital age. This brings me to the mobility of the people. It is important to increase mobility opportunities, including virtual, especially for our young people. Our societies and economies will benefit from a wider range of talents with cross-border learning experience and sense of belonging to a community of shared values. As an example of how we can achieve this, I will mention our flagship mobility program, Erasmus+, the new Digital Education Action Plan I presented in September, provide the policy context for increasing the digital impact of this program. Blended mobility. That means that new technologies will never replace the physical mobility, but we should use the opportunities provided by new technologies in order to help our young people to share experience, to be more self-confident, and just to exchange with others. And that's why blended mobility will be integrated into Erasmus by introducing a virtual learning component and further strengthening successful initiatives such as e-twinning for schools. I think that we need here to continue to provide more opportunities for secondary schools. I'm thinking here about a very practical skills that our young people want to acquire, and that's why we'll continue our initiative, the Digital Opportunity Traineeship, but this time we'll expand this to the vocational education and training and to the teachers. So this, for our intention is really that this will bring together learners and teachers from different countries to work online on common projects. In addition, greater use will be made of virtual exchanges between young people and education institutions in Europe and around the world. This will engage our young people and improve their soft skills. Much more thing can be said about mobility, but I will stop here. Prime Minister HOTI, let me turn to you and ask your views and ideas on how Kosovo and its citizens, its researchers and innovators, its businesses, can best engage with and benefit from our new initiatives, such as the Economic and Investment Plan.
Well, thank you very much, Commissioner Gabriel. Very important point that you raised. This is an important topic. What we are doing is trying to build our capacities to be part of the innovation agenda for the whole Western Balkans, including among all the green transition and digital transformation of our economy, but that would connect people and businesses. But of course, this is not a one-man job. We need a regional approach, and we need a strong support from the European Union in order for our economy and for the region in general to be part of these developments. Now, first of all, I think we need, as I said before, common commitments on undertaking concrete initiatives and projects that would make possible for our economies to be part of the innovation agenda and green agenda as well, because we can make use of these developments in the digital world only if we work together. That's why we need common commitments at the regional level. Perhaps, and this is my proposal here for you and for the European Commission in general, to see if you could actually develop some conditionalities for the Western Balkan countries on implementing concrete steps and actions and policies that are related to green agenda and innovation agenda as well. This is first. Second, again, we need a multilateral perspective and multilateral cooperation in order to make sure that we include the freedom of knowledge and research as part of the four freedoms of goods, services, capital, and ideas. Again, on paper, we do have some commitments now at the regional level, but we need concrete steps in this respect. Third, we need to make sure, and I think it's up to the European Commission now, to make sure that the whole region is fully integrated into the European research area, because this is important for the quality of our education system. It is important to promote open research and access to world-level research, and it is important to enhance the innovation in all Western Balkan countries. Fourth, we need clear and meaningful benchmarks or milestones to be reached by all countries in the region, because we can benefit from this kind of economic transformation only if all countries move together. That's why we need to develop, and I think it's up again to the European Commission to develop, as I said, clear and meaningful milestones that we have to meet. And these milestones might be in the form of concrete projects that should be implemented, or developing a legal framework in order for this kind of agenda to move forward. And this is important, and it is becoming even more important in this time of the pandemic situation that we are all going through. And second, especially for Kosovo, to enable the young generations to be part of regional and European market. And fifth, and the final, actually, we need also, as I said before, we need to increase our absorption capacities in the area of EU program, especially when it comes to Erasmus+, Horizon Europe, and other EU instruments. So these are my comments. Back to you, Commissioner Gabriel.
Yes, so Madam Commissioner, would you like to refer immediately to these ideas and these proposals? So I'm not sure if
I can react. Thank you very much, Prime Minister. I think that we are fully on the same line. What is important is not only to stay with common framework, now we have shared ambitions, but really to fulfill this with concrete initiatives and concrete content that will bring benefits for our citizens and for our economies. And that's why in my innovation agenda, that will be definitely one of the main aspects. When we talk about regional cooperation, the question is not only to define what will be the final ambition and what we would like to achieve, but what are the concrete steps, how we can have a common action plans. And on my side, that will be definitely proposed in the innovation agenda. I fully agree that we need really to work more on the green agenda, because this transformational process, it's not easy. There is a lot of aspects to take into consideration. And what is above all the most important is the trust of our citizens. We need really to convince them that this transformation process will be beneficial for them, not to lose jobs, to keep perspectives, and to promote regional cooperation and development. So on my side, together with my team, we are working on this, and very soon we are coming with concrete initiatives.
Thank you, Commissioner Gabriel. Thanks to all the statements of the High Representative so far, we have already a rich picture, and I would like to invite now the President of the Vienna Economic Forum, Peter UMUNDUM, to give us a first short comment on this.
Yeah, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy that you did these statements, this analysis in your markets, in your responsibilities. All of you mentioned at the moment is a quite challenging time, but all of you brought a lot of opportunities, a lot of positive possibilities for the future, for the next steps, and that would also be part of the strategy of Vienna Economic Forum. Let me reflect maybe to some of your issues. I think it was very important that Mr. Deubner at the beginning mentioned already. First of all, there's sufficient liquidity in the market, and investors has trust in the region, and that is also very important for the partners of Vienna Economic Forum. We have trust in this region. We are investing there, and I think all the members of Vienna Economic Forum are invested in this region, and it's also very important to do this green transition, which was mentioned in this first statement. Madam Commissioner Gabriel mentioned this important topic of this combination of physical and virtual mobility. Especially it's key for the young people. I think it's quite an important point. She also mentioned the knowledge growth is more important with additional connectivity and partnerships. I think that's also a big chance for us, and it's also part of the goals of the Vienna Economic Forum. And I like the picture of this University of the Future. I think that's the right way in thinking about education. And thanks to Prime Minister HOTI, he gives also a very positive feedback to Vienna Economic Forum. I think it's also important for us to hear this positive feedback. It's a motivation for us to go forward and to develop our network. And I think you also was quite interesting, as you mentioned, this new starting point for new growth. Each economy is suffering at the moment, but there is a new starting point, and out from this starting point, it should go up now. And with your integration of the markets and stop these trade barriers, I think you mentioned like this. I think that's a very good message and should also be a goal of our forum. Prime Minister SCHMYHAL, he brought this example with this growth connection of Ukraine and European Union. And also this green course of Ukraine. I was also very surprised about the development in your region, and also the possibility to bring together your chances with materials, with raw materials, with minerals, and these new industries to the European Union, and also this IT growth of 20-25% was very surprising for me. Also, Dr. Pavlova mentioned there's a lot of money prepared for the region, especially for the West Balkans. I think it was 9 billion at the end. And these flagship projects, this connectivity 5G or environmental investments, I think that's the right goal. And then Deputy Prime Minister BYTYQI from North Macedonia, this right balance between health and economy, I think that's the right description of the challenge for every country at the moment all over the world. But at the end, the outcome must be investment in digitalization and environmental investments, and I think that was described quite well. So all in all, I'm very positive. Thanks for your inputs, for your feedback. We will take this also to the strategy of the Vienna Economic Forum. All the best and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and I would like directly to invite Dr. KIRTCHEVA to complete these comments.
Thank you very much, and allow me to mention that we are very proud, Vienna Economic Forum, to have as patrons the Prime Minister of the member countries of the region. Thank you to you, Prime Minister HOTI. Thank you to you, Prime Minister SCHMYHAL. Thank you to all Prime Ministers from the region who are very, very welcome, our patrons of Vienna Economic Forum. Allow me to be very quickly and to ask something, Mrs. Pavlova, the Vice President of European Investment Bank. Dear Vice President, in your experiences, big experiences, Minister of Transport of Bulgaria and Europa Minister of Bulgaria, we have now as Vice President of European Investment Bank the responsibility for the Western Balkans. Please, about talking about mobility in terms of transportation and transport infrastructure. What is the support from the European Investment Bank in this sector? You have so big experience. We are speaking about different corridors. They are so long time even the priority of European Commission and as European Bank. Please give us some answers, some information.
Thank you very much, dear Ambassador KIRTCHEVA, dear Elena. Indeed, it's a very important topic, speaking on mobility in terms of transportation and transport infrastructure, specifically for the region we are discussing today. And having safe and efficient transport is essential for facilitating trade flows and economic development of the region. It is necessary for the further integration of the market that still needs to find its place into European Union's economy that is undergoing certain changes and challenges as well, as COVID-19 crisis continues to disrupt all aspects of the world that we once knew. So in the new chapter for this civilization that the pandemic has opened, reaffirming and establishing new channels for connection and mobility has become an imperative, as everyday and business processes need to continue. New circumstances have created an urgency to implementing initiatives towards cleaner and innovative solutions that should create more sustainable, digital and inclusive and also cohesive economies, respectful of environment and its resources. This transition needs to address the transportation as well. This sector is an impetus behind the economic growth, affecting the exchange of goods and commodities, tourism development, and commuting efficiently. The transport infrastructure of the Western Balkans is still challenging in many aspects, but things are moving forward in the right direction. Thanks to the overall support of the European Union funding, also the European Investment Bank support, together with also our fellow IFIs as well. I believe and I strongly believe that the region is slowly returning to the world maps and logistic routes, especially when it comes to trans-European transport network. Speaking on EIB, transport accounted for 30% of the 8 billion euro of EIB lending in the region in the past 10 years. In future, the bulk of investment will remain focused on fixed rail infrastructure rehabilitation and modernization, including feasible electrification. It could also potentially extend to passenger fleet modernization and many other. Apart from support to feasible greenfield investments in the extended TEN-T network, the bank pursues opportunities in investment in road safety, arising from national road safety strategies and prioritization exercises, rollout of alternative fuels distribution, secure parking and rest areas, intelligent transport system integration, electronic tolling, this is all in support to the basic infrastructure, which we will of course continue supporting for the region. In addition to that, we are also ready to support urban public transport improvements through modernization and electrification of public transport fleets, as well as rehabilitation and extension of fixed line public transport networks that form part of sustainable urban mobility parts of the cities. The European Investment Bank, we can provide extensive and I believe important technical expertise throughout the whole project cycle through combination of our in-house experts, engineers, and our own staff working on JASPERS, who are now work across all 6 countries in the Balkans, in the transport sectors, and also we can provide additional external expert and consultants really to support and really to boost to invest in the much needed transport infrastructure and additional really to support additional mobility of the region. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank you, Dr. Pavlova, for completing the discussion with this information. Our next speaker has the task to summarize this high-class 1-hour discussion on the main topics, regional economy development and new type of mobility in a digital era in 3 minutes. So it's a challenging task, but thanks to his considerable expertise and experience, he will do more than justice to this challenge. I pass the word to the president of Jackovich International and member of the board of the Vienna Economic Forum, Mr. Ambassador Victor Jackovich from Florida, USA.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. I hope you can see me.
Very good.
Very good. I am actually broadcasting to you or participating in this from Washington, D.C. in the United States. And I hope that my presence from the United States augurs well for a future relationship between the United States and Europe and the United States and the Western Balkans on a very rational basis. I hope that it means more engagement, not only with the Western Balkans and Southeastern Europe, but also with Ukraine. It's very difficult to summarize everything that was said here simply because so many very important things were said. And our President Peter UMUNDUM, I think, made a very, very good summary of his own. He himself mentioned the new type of mobility that we have with the digital world, the fact that connectivity remains very, very important. And the Vienna Economic Forum, I think, even this conference, in spite of the challenges of COVID-19, being held in this unique manner, is a response to what he was talking about in terms of increasing, not just maintaining our network, but increasing our network in terms of help with the Green Deal, countering the pandemic, and digitalization. Petr LENNKH, speaking on behalf of the Raiffeisen Bank International, pointed out the bank's long-term, long-standing relationship with the region over 30 years and in 14 different countries. And I was impressed by the fact that he is expressing confidence in the current situation faced by these countries and how they are answering that challenge, but confidence in the future. Gunter DEUBER from RBI Research, Raiffeisen Bank International Research, giving us a lot of data, a lot of fine information. The Western banks' domination of the sector, I should say, leading the Central European and East European banking sector, but at the same time, there being an opportunity to retool, perhaps, the look at tourism, which is so important to very many countries, particularly Albania, Croatia, and Montenegro. Special thanks to the Commissioner, Mariya, and her summation of her efforts and very many proposals that have come directly from her office with the knowledge triangle in terms of growth, transition, and youth. Very many specific initiatives, especially in pointing at youth and youth organizations, universities, strengthening the public science systems of universities, with 280 universities in Europe already engaged in this. Prime Minister HOTI very eloquently pointing out how his government, how his country has been hit hard by the economic crisis, but talking about the Sofia summit, the need not only for these proposals to be on paper, but for them to be implemented. The dialogue with Serbia being very, very important. Very many specific points by Prime Minister HOTI, developing conditionalities for implementation of concrete steps, multilateral cooperation, clear benchmarks from the European Commission, which can be in the form of concrete projects or a legal framework, and increasing the absorption capacity. These are all very important points pointed out by Prime Minister HOTI. Prime Minister SCHMYHAL, дуже приємно було слушати вас. It was very important and very pleasant to hear your positive presentation of the situation in Ukraine, particularly with the relations with the EU. The 22nd Ukrainian EU summit recently being held, the basis of Ukraine in the future being security and development within an expansion of access to the European Union. The need to update this agreement, he was pointing out, launching an agreement last week with the EU about critical materials and minerals, a common aviation agreement. The important thing also being within the Ukraine itself, the reform movement, because without reform within the Ukraine, many of these initiatives will not find residence within the European community. Liljana PAVLOVA, Vice President of the European Investment Bank, speaking about the Berlin process developing into the Sofia summit, full support from the EC to the Western Balkans, and the European Investment Bank being fully involved with this, actively involved with long-term financing, technical assistance, advisory assistance, and specifically talking about Corridor 5C in Bosnia, the railway connection between Belgrade and Bar, Albania-Kosovo broadband network, Northern Macedonia waste management. His Excellency Fatmir BYTYQI from Northern Macedonia, also talking about the fact that they have adopted a new budget in 2021, emphasizing the fight against corruption, digitalization. They are fully a candidate for the European Union. They have a national development plan. The key, as he pointed out, is the regional markets. I have tried to simply give a summation, and I'm sorry I went over my allotted time, but I would simply like to add a few words from myself, very few. The key thing is for the Vienna Economic Forum to continue and to be on the forefront of looking for initiatives that can assist all of these initiatives. We have many challenges in the region. Bosnia, Serbia and Kosovo, and Montenegro. Montenegro, where the former party, the former leading party, is no longer in charge of the government, apparently, but achieved an awful lot. And we are, of course, hopeful that the new government will continue on its Euro-Atlantic path. Once again, it's an honor to be addressing you from Washington, and I hope that my presence augurs well for a new engagement, a rational engagement by the United States in the region. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. It was a pleasure and an honor for us. And despite all the challenges you mentioned, you draw a quite positive picture in your summary. And you highlighted the fact that it's not about maintaining the network, it's about expanding the network. And that's what we do when we follow our motto, economy meets politics. So thank you again and goodbye to Washington. Yeah, we follow our motto, economy meets politics, and I would like to give the floor now to the members of the board of the Vienna Economic Forum for commenting the challenges and opportunities for the regional economy from their point of view, from the view of the companies they represent. First to take the floor is the Vice President of the Economic Forum, Dr. Achim KASPAR, member of the Executive Board, COO at Verbund AG, and he's here on site in the hall.
Thank you very much. Today we have already learned a lot about innovation and digitization in the region for the future. The current crisis has shown the vulnerability of our economy, but we have not to forget that these pandemic challenges are not the only problem that we have. We are also facing a global climate crisis at the moment. As digitizations help us to overcome boundaries and borders in pandemic times and implement new work models with collaboration tools as we use today, or we create efficient processes and value chains in our companies, digitization is the key for the transition in a sustainable and resilient energy future. Based on the Green Deal, we have to build a clean, affordable, and secure energy system. This is the basement of the resilient economy, what we have to build. Due to the fact that we have to phase out coal and nuclear power production and add on more renewable capacities from wind and solar energy, the energy system is a critical infrastructure and gets more volatile. Even on the consumer side, we see at the moment a trend and the tendency that the consumer is changed to a prosumer. So they will put in energy in the systems and they will keep out energy of the systems. So this really makes the network really volatile. And to keep the electricity network stable and avoid blackouts, we need technology for sure. Smart grids, smart meters, and for sure digital trading platforms are part of this digitization key for a green, resilient, and bright energy future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we are now expecting another interesting perspective from the Investment Office of the Presidency of the Republic of Turkey, represented not as announced in the program of Mr. Burak Dalioğlu. We are grateful to have Mr. Furkan Karayaka with us.
Hello, can you see me?
We can hear you.
I shared my video, it was working, but...
We can hear you very clear and good, so...
Okay.
I would say let's continue with this and probably okay. Yeah, fine, okay, please go on.
Thank you, Ms. Philipp. Please allow me to express firstly my appreciation to the Vienna Economic Forum for organizing this event in this difficult time. Well, we are going through a challenging time. The problems that we are facing today are of global nature. Therefore, solutions to these problems require a global response with strong regional cooperation. Being at the crossroads of trade routes and energy transit, the Southeast European region plays an important role for the security and stability of the continental Europe. Today's problems are overwhelming for any individual country. The pandemic has exposed this bitter reality. However, there is no room for despair and pessimism. We believe that together we can overcome these challenges and make sure no country is left behind. Our fight against these global challenges requires cooperation in many areas, from politics to security, and from economy to healthcare. From an economic point of view, trade and investments have always made significant contributions to the regional development and stability. Therefore, in addition to cooperation between governments, it's also vital to secure cooperation between public sector and private sector. Similarly, partnerships between our business communities will further contribute to the overall well-being of the region. In this regard, cooperation between financial services and real industry is critical to come through such difficult times. As Turkey, we have always attached utmost importance to the development of the region. Therefore, Turkey has been actively involved in initiatives to increase regional integration and cooperation. On the other hand, Turkish private sector has also been actively investing in the region, especially in infrastructure development projects, which is essential to the regional trade and investments. As an investment promotion agency, we have always been sharing our experience with our counterparts in the region. From 2015 to 2019, our office, Investment Office of Turkey, chaired the presidency of WIPA, World Association of Investment Promotion Agencies. And during our presidency, we worked hard to transform WIPA into an international information center, where the capacities of investment promotion agencies are developed through cooperation and experience sharing programs, as well as trainings. We have also organized an experience sharing programs with Vienna Economic Forum members like Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Kosovo and Ukraine in recent years. In May 2019 in Podgorica, with the support of the EU and the World Bank, we organized a special training program for investment support agencies of Regional Cooperation Council of Western Balkan countries. As the official investment promotion agency of Turkey, we will continue to work and cooperate with our colleagues in the region. Thank you.
Rayaka, unfortunately, we couldn't manage to see you, but the sound was good and clear, and with your information, you really enriched our discussion. Thank you for this. And I now would like to, invite the Managing Director of Canon CE, Mr. Wilbert Verheyen, sitting next to me, even if it is with a lot of distance. Mr. Verheyen.
Thank you very much. A great honor to be part of this forum and this very powerful discussion. From Canon's perspective, I would like to bring up two trends that you probably have seen already for many years, but the crisis has accelerated tremendously. Firstly, we talked already a lot about digital transformation, and clear that due to the pandemic now, we've accelerated in digital transformation projects. As Canon, we are active in, I can say, every country in the region, and there has been a big increase in number of projects that are looking at digital transformation, especially when it comes to document management, where paper processes, paper-based workflows are being transferred into digitized and automated workflows. Of course, driven by the fact that remote working has become now standard practice, that an office is not necessarily the only work environment we know anymore. And most companies, if not all companies and organizations, would have digital transformation on their agenda already. I think the last 6 to 8 months has shown that this is now being accelerated and has made a huge move forward. The problem, however, is that it was documented by McKinsey, by the consultant company, that 70% digital transformation projects fail. This is a huge number, and this is quite alarming on one hand. On the other hand, it shows that it's very important to understand digital transformation and what a digital transformation project actually entails. And I think the first conclusion was that it's not an end station. It's not to go to digital in one go. It's a journey. And it has to be treated as a journey within the organization. And secondly, it is important to understand and realize that most processes and most organizations will stay working in a hybrid environment, which means partially physical, partially virtual. And this digital transformation has to accommodate this type of working. So these are two important lessons I think we should keep in mind when talking about digital transformation. The other one I would like to mention is the trend on the consumer side, where we see a big increase in e-commerce because physical stores are closed and e-commerce is the only real option to do shopping. The experience that people are expecting nowadays from e-commerce are getting higher and higher, and it's a huge opportunity, I think, for businesses and companies and organizations to increase this personalized experience. And the reason I think for this forum, why these two trends are so important, is that all this requires a strong infrastructure. And this is where governments and institutions and companies have to work together in terms of investment, provide this infrastructure in every aspect, digital broadband, etc. And I think this is where the region has a big benefit, because it's well documented that in emerging markets, these type of transitions can go faster. And emerging markets don't have some of the legacy that mature markets have, where we can jump immediately to the latest technology and use the innovation. That would be my contribution to today's discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Verheyen. I'm sure we keep this in mind, that it's really a digital journey which requires a lot of cooperation. And we completed the journey or the picture with the CEO of BYTYQI Europe, Mr. Emmanuel Forrest, who is participating online.
Thank you very much, and greetings from Paris. Regretting not to be in Vienna, I think I will speak less on behalf of BYTYQI, since I will retire at the end of the year, and more as a representative of the Mission Board for Climate Neutral and Smart Cities of the EU, the work of which will continue next year, if I understood well, and I will have myself more time to dedicate to this ambitious task. We delivered a report to Mariya GABRIEL at the beginning of September, and we proposed to establish a mission 100 climate neutral cities by 2030 by and for the citizens. It's very ambitious, but it's as ambitious as a Green Deal, and for me it's the proof of concept of the Green Deal, since how could we imagine having a green continent for 2050 without being able to have 100 climate neutral cities in 2030. It's a huge opportunity for the economy. It will cost money. We assessed 10,000 euros per citizen, roughly 100 billion for 100 middle-sized cities, with public funding, of course, but hugely also with private sector funding from the private sector, for which it's a huge opportunity in terms of growth and jobs. And I would say that this mission will contribute to the recovery by creating a better future for all in all European cities and midterm on the continent. It's an innovative project through citizen engagement, through new forms of governance. Cities will never be like before, and COVID has helped us in a way to imagine such a future. It's also a research-based innovation project, and it will be a toolbox for all communities to make our continent climate neutral in 2050. Cities of all member states should participate, including cities from more recent member states, less experienced in complex projects. But Europe is bigger than we think usually, and we should embark our most neighboring countries, like in particular the members of Vienna Economic Forum. It was mentioned several times during this conference, and in particular Western Balkans. As member of the Mission Board and as well as a member of the board of Vienna Economic Forum, I would say that I feel a bit myself a city's mission ambassador to these countries. Dear Commissioner Gabriel, we have heard how dear to your heart is cooperation with Western Balkans. I hope that climate neutrality will be a relevant topic contributing to an effective European cooperation in this promising region. And on this message of hope, Davam vi dumata, Gospoja Gabriel, i vi благодаря za vниманието.
Thank you very much, dear Emmanuel. Thank you very much for your strong messages. For me, I would like really to thank you again for your participation in the Mission Board on Climate Neutral and Smart Cities, because as you already have said it, we have done an amazing work, but we have another one in front of us, and I count very much on your ideas and your energy. I would like really to react on this, because this Horizon Europe mission will play a crucial role in achieving the European Green Deal. Like other mission areas, it should deliver sustainable solutions to some of the greatest challenges facing our world. And for sure, when we talk about green transition, definitely that will be one of the main priorities in the innovation agenda for Western Balkans. Now, what I would like again to raise is that during the R&I days in September, the board presented this objective, the objective of the mission. What we would like to achieve is to have 100 climate neutral cities by 2030. Fine. But this time, what is important is to say again that this mission is much more than a traditional research and innovation program. It fosters innovation across the value chain of city investment, targeting multiple sectors such as governance, transport, energy, constructions, and recycling, while at the same time engaging powerful digital technologies. And that means that it requires to go beyond existing schemes and habits. It demands a change in attitudes, as well as a change in the way citizens, local, central and regional governments and European institutions work together. And here I would like to bring to your attention the important work of our community of practice on cities. This is a network aimed at knowledge exchange and peer learning. It is run by the Joint Research Center of the European Commission and brings together around 800 members from scientific, policy, industry and administrative backgrounds. And this community of practice supports the mission area climate neutral and smart cities by contributing to a one-stop shop platform that will serve cities with expertise and assistance for their climate action plans and related social innovation action plans. So I invite you to encourage your cities to join this community of practice. At the same time, I think that while the proposal of the mission board focuses on the intra-European content and setup of the mission, it also recognizes the mission's international outreach. The mission board proposes to set up a global knowledge center on cities and climate that could facilitate and create synergies between European and international climate initiatives and stakeholders. And here we have a real challenge in front of us. How to build these synergies, because we already know that there is in the region, in Serbia, a co-location center on climate linked to one of the KICs of the European Innovation and Technology Institute. We know that there is digital innovation hubs that dedicated to work on these new green technologies. The question is really how to maximize the effect and how really to be as efficient as possible. And here I would like really to bring to your attention the importance of regions and cities, because I fully believe that through this mission we want to strengthen the links with our partners in the European neighborhood and beyond, but at the same time to have an inspiring vision for our cities as front runners in green and digital transformation. That's why allow me to share with you how important is again the joint action plan with the Committee of the Regions, because we know that from the region, from the European countries, there is a lot of very active mayors at local and regional level on these issues. Now the challenge is build synergies and be as concrete as possible. And let me also turn to all participants. Please accept today's discussion as a message to the key actors and stakeholders in your countries to take an active part in this mission. Thank you very much, Mr. Forrest. Thank you to your colleagues in the mission board for all the work done. I think that definitely that is for the future of our cities and for the future of our citizens.
Again, Madam Commissioner, for these activating statements, and merci Monsieur Forrest. I now would like Dr. Liljana Pavlova again to contribute to the dialogue by informing us which role the European Investment Bank takes on enhancing all these cooperations.
Thank you very much once again. The EIB group financing and advisory solutions will be directly contributing to the implementation of Horizon Europe and to future-proofing of the region's economy. As I mentioned earlier, our work in support of green and digital transition of the region, as well as towards a more inclusive society. So, being the EU's climate bank, our ambition is to accelerate the green transitions of the Western Balkan economies, together with the European Commission, with fellow IFIs and the partners. In view of the areas related to adaptation to climate change, including climate neutral and smart cities, I should say that the bank priorities and targets include support of projects with direct environmental benefits, including protection and environmental and improvement of natural and urban environment. Relevant projects cover the entire water cycle, water resources, water supply, sanitation, flood protection, as well as waste management. In the latter segment, the bank will support projects consistently with its policies on circular economy and the Clean Oceans initiatives. The pipeline of our new projects ranges from wastewater treatment plants in Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, to small schemes delivered under the framework loans in Republic of North Macedonia, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina as well, and many others to come. Going forward, it is foreseen to set up the setup of dedicated facilities with financial intermediaries and promotional banks in order to support climate action and environmentally sustainable investments promoted by SMEs and mid-caps. I should also say that our advisory and capacity building activities can be instrumental in supporting project promoting smart specialization and smart cities with a view to sustainable urban development, investing in education, training and lifelong learning, strengthening research, technological development and innovation, just like to name a few. On youth unemployment, another very important priority, I would like to underline that the bank has considerable experience developing instruments to support youth unemployment and skills, both in the EU and in the Western Balkans. A EU-funded youth employment guarantee facility is being deployed by the European Investment Fund, our bank's financing arm, as we speak. Today, the economic crisis escalated by COVID pandemic risks even greater levels of youth unemployment and brain drain. So the increasing level of brain drain in the region is a serious economic and social challenge for all of us. And we are really ready, and we are looking forward to work with all partners in the region and outside the region on many different initiatives to tackle specifically that issue. Thank you very much. Maybe for the sake of keeping the time, I should stop here, as there maybe there are many other issues and topics to cover, but to keep the time, I would like to, maybe I should stop here. Thank you very much for your
time.
Thank you,
Commissioner
Gabriel, for your strong involvement here in the region. Thank you.
It's such a rich discussion with a lot of information, a lot of perspectives, and that's why I would like to bring back in mind the possibility for you participants to ask questions or to ask for further information while using the chat function. But please be aware that the questions will be answered within the next days from the office of the Vienna Economic Forum, so please give also your email address with this. Yeah, and now I would like to give the floor for closing remarks to Madam Commissioner.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Lily, for all your energy, support and concrete initiatives with the European Investment Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, at the end of our discussion, I would like to highlight another topic that is important for all of us if you want to achieve the priorities that we discussed. This is the new comprehensive strategy for widening. It has been elaborated in the context of the new Horizon Europe program, and this strategy aims to promote the research innovation capacity building across all regions assembled here today. Horizon 2020 is, as Horizon Europe will be, a competitive program whose main principle is scientific excellence. In addition, both programs provide specific support for member and fully associated states with lower research innovation capacities. Our measures, spreading excellence and widening participation, helps to improve the performance of national research and innovation ecosystems and increases the participation in European research innovation funding programs. In Horizon Europe, all countries from the neighborhood will become eligible for costing the coordinator of actions funded through the widening program, which will give you more flexibility. In Horizon 2020, remember, we have flagship actions such as Antares and BioEast that prominently show the high and impact of widening. We want to build on these and expand them further. Widening actions are instrumental to attract and retain talents and to unlock regional potential. Novel schemes for innovation excellence and universities, like excellence hubs and university alliances, will help to integrate other research innovation actors. Under Horizon 2020, now it's time to talk money. It's always very important. Under Horizon 2020, we had close to €1 billion available for widening. In Horizon Europe, our intention is to triple this figure. With Horizon Europe, we are joining the biggest research innovation funding program in the world. And as fully associated partners, you will engage in a new wave of research innovation partnerships, contributing to and enabling green and digital transition, as well as access to global value chains. Horizon Europe is also introducing new features. For example, the European Innovation Council, whose pilot phase has already started under Horizon 2020. It is very important for our startups, for our SMEs, because what we do in the context of the European Innovation Council is very relevant to all of you, because it gives you an easy access to financial instruments supporting innovation. The European Innovation Council is the one-stop shop for innovation. It is our Europeans' most ambitious initiative today to disruptive and breakthrough innovation. The aim of the European Innovation Council is to bring them from the lab to the market and help startups and SMEs scale up their ideas. For the implementation and the management of the investment component in the European Innovation Council, we have set up a new entity, the European Innovation Council Fund. Thus, for the first time, we'll make direct equity investments in companies with ownership stakes expected to be in general from 10 to 25% in startups companies. And its main goal is not to maximize the return on investments, but to accompany companies in their growth. The EIC fund fills the funding gap at the startup stage where the European venture capital market underperforms compared to the global venture capital market. And you see that we are there with many future-oriented ideas with measures and funding to implement them, and most importantly, with an open hand that reaches to all of you. Ladies and gentlemen, I will end by briefly again mentioning my new initiative for an innovation agenda for the Western Balkans. It's up to us all. Let us jointly create this strategy and ensure that its priorities contribute to knowledge sharing, better mobility, and enhance regional research and innovation capacity. I count on your support to make this innovation agenda our next common success story. Dear participants, thank you very much to all of you for the inspiring discussions and valuable contributions, and special thanks for the organizers for providing for the 7th time such an important platform for exchange on highly topical issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Commissioner, for your kind closing remarks and your open hand reaching out. A big virtual applause to all the session participants for enriching us with their versatile views. Before we close the 17th Vienna Economic Forum, we move to a final highlight, the annual award ceremony. And with this, I pass the word to Mr. President Peter UMUNDUM and Ambassador KIRTCHEVA.
Yes, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not possible to make a summary of 2 hours of interesting statements and discussions in 3 minutes. So at the end, let me maybe stress 3 topics. First, the 17th Vienna Economic Forum took place in a digital way. It worked. We had more than 150 participants all over the time. And like in the 16 years before, we provided visibility to the business members, to the member countries, and we provided an information flow between the members and an exchange of new ideas. Second, also 2020 is a very challenging year, maybe the most challenging year after the Second World War, but we heard a lot of optimism. There's a lot of liquidity, a lot of investment readiness, programs like Horizon 2020 or Horizon Europe. I think money is there. If there are good ideas, they can be supported. Achim KASPAR mentioned some very interesting ideas in the area of sustainability. We heard about ISPAT. There's a huge market there. There's a possibility with support of ISPAT to go to this market and. Third topic is the new type of mobility in the digital world is already here. We just have to use it. And I think this conference is a good example how it can work. So at the end, let me say thank you to everyone who supported us to make this event possible. Especially I want to thank all the speakers and participants, Madam Commissioner, the distinguished Prime Ministers, Madam Vice President, all the members of the Board of Vienna Economic Forum, as well all the representatives of politics and economy. And of course, all the online viewers of this year's special edition of the 17th Vienna Economic Forum. And thank you very much to the moderation, to the technical and event teams. You did a great job. Everything worked quite well. Thank you for this. Last but not least, Dr. Elena KIRTCHEVA, General Secretary. Without your engagement and the spirit of the Vienna Economic Forum, which you bring in here day by day, the forum would not exist. Thank you for everything, for supporting this forum, but for the support you're doing all over the year. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. So I hope you all had interesting times, and we see you maybe in maybe in a physical way in the 18th Vienna Forum in November 2021. And now I hand over to Elena. I think there's now a very nice point at the end.
My appeal in the end is in 2 directions to the governments. Dear partners, dear patrons of the Vienna Economic Forum, dear governments of the member countries of the Vienna Economic Forum, think about more freedom for the economy. Think about more deliberation. To be the motor of the development is the predestination of the economy. To work in a framework on deregulation is the precondition for a good economy. We are here with the key word cooperation. Our main goal, the main goal of the Economic Forum, is to be the bridge between the private and the public sectors. And our main aim is to support the development of the regional economy. We are ready, according to the plans, to the agenda of the European Commission, of European Parliament, to be supportive in the transformation from the art, from the kind of regional cooperation to a regional regional integration. Pardon. Regional integration is very difficult thing to integrate the region. We have to need structure. We are here, Vienna Economic Forum, ready with our readiness, with the members of Vienna Economic Forum, all of them very well and successful companies, and not only European, but European, non-European, and companies. We are here to support this development of the regional integration, and in all these years of Vienna Economic Forum, 16 years, we have decided, the member of the board of the Economic Forum, to have the Partners of the Year. Partners of the Year 2020, I am very, very proud to announce is Mrs. Mariya GABRIEL, our commissioner. Dear Mariya, dear Liljana, dear ladies, you are great. And dear Peter, we have, you use the possibility, the digital way of the Austrian Post to give to the Mariya GABRIEL this award, Partner of the Years 2020. Maybe Mariya GABRIEL will have now in her hand the award. Is
so let us see. Yeah, we're connected again.
You have the award.
GABRIEL. She has it in hand, the award.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Dear President, dear Secretary General, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to receive this year's Partner of the Year award of the Vienna Economic Forum, and I'm sincerely grateful for this recognition. I have always valued the objectives of the forum to promote regional economic cooperation, and it is a special privilege to participate in the discussions organized by this highly regarded platform for exchange of innovative and inspiring ideas. The participating countries have so much potential and so many talents. By joining forces, we can make a real difference in the way we tackle common challenges and achieve a better future for our young people. By presenting this award to me today, you also recognize the unique role that the European Commission plays in tackling global challenges, such as climate change and digitalization and other topics of high importance to the region. The modern challenges do not stop at borders and affect all nations and all peoples. This is also a recognition of our substantial role in strengthening regional cooperation and regional economic development. I do believe that research and innovation, as well as education and skills development, must remain a top priority. I'm happy that my portfolio can make an essential contribution to building resilient, prosperous, and inclusive societies and economies, to sharing knowledge and innovative ideas, and to developing Europe's talent pool. We have excellent examples for successful cooperation in these areas. We also have new initiatives and ideas how to develop it further. Thank you, Vienna Economic Forum, for inspiring us, for supporting us, and for helping us to realize these great ideas. So I accept this award with humility and an equal measure of determination to further advance the work on our shared priorities. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Commissioner GABRIEL. Thanks to your contribution. Thank you all the participants, all the Prime Minister, the speaker. It was really a great honor to have you with us, and as we told it at the very beginning, all together we made this reunion a very special one. In a few days, the conference will be recorded as video and available at www.Vienna Economic Forum. It remains for me to wish you good health, flexibility, confidence, and, very important, cooperation leading you through these challenging times. Goodbye and have a nice day. Thank you so much.